Yo, what's going on? Have you ever struggled with understanding your why behind being free to lead? I feel like everybody has leadership like qualities within them, but in order for us to be a better leader, we have to find our strengths when it comes to leadership. What does it really mean to be free to lead? Because leadership isn't just about having a title. It's not. It's about being the person in charge, and it's certainly not about telling people what to do. True leadership begins when you have the courage to break free from the beliefs, fears, limitations, and past decisions that have been holding you back. And when I say holding you back, it could be for years. True leadership is one of those things where it will come to you in time. Today, we're going to have a conversation exactly about leadership. My guest is an internationally respected transformation leadership coach, someone who has spent decades helping people discover what possibilities when they stop allowing their limitations to define them. He's also the author of a powerful new book called Free to Lead: Unleash Your Hidden Leadership Genius. I'm talking about a man who understands that sometimes the biggest things standing between you and your leadership capabilities is you. So get ready because we are going to talk about leadership, mindset, courage, breaking through limitations, and what it really means to be free to lead. Will Steele, welcome to Fast Forward Mindset Podcast. I know I'm excited to have you, and I'm sure my listeners are as well. Welcome.
Thank you, James. Thanks for having me on the show.
You're welcome. So what I really want to talk about today, Will, is the whole understanding, number one, of what leadership looks like. I've been in corporate leadership for 20 plus years. And I feel like with leadership, people think leadership only means you being a leader outside of yourself, leading someone else, leading them to be prosperous, leading someone else to be great other than themselves. And so today I want to take a deeper dive into leadership. Like I said, one, talk about what leadership really means. How do you find your quality, a higher quality of leadership within you? And what does it really mean to be a leader? So my first thing I want to talk about is the book, Free to Lead: Unleash Your Hidden Leadership Genius. So tell us a little bit about the book. What is it really about? What does it give you? What's the meat and potatoes behind the book?
Yeah, well, it's not just any old book. It took me 14 months to write it, rewrite it. I wanted it to be a book that people not just read and went, oh, yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's good. I didn't want that. I wanted it to alter you. Like you read this book and you're not sane. And you could reread the book and get something new each time you read the book, depending what you're dealing with and what you're going through. So it is about leadership because leaders are human beings. So it's really about being human. You could be talking about, free to lead, but you could be talking about free to actually realize your dreams, free to actually accomplish what you really want to accomplish. It's the same stuff between you and being the human being that accomplishes those things. If you look at, so the book is about being able to,
Mm-hmm.
first off, consider you ended up in life this constrained you. Now you might not feel constrained because maybe you're producing great results. Maybe you're able to say what's on your mind. Maybe you don't take no crap from anyone, right? So you
Right.
feel like you're really being yourself. But there's an act you put on. There's a facade you put on. There's a you that goes out in public. There's a you that's with your family. There's a you that's with your partner. There's a you that, when you're with your best friend, you can be. There's a you that, when you go swimming in the sea and there's nobody else there and you're just you. There's all these yous, right? Now, which one's the real you? Well, you've become a you that you relate to as you. I'm this, I'm that, or I'm not this and I'm not that. So without knowing it, you have you have edges to you. You know, you have I'm this but not that. I'm good at this but not so good at that. And these are all kind of like, I don't want to say a box because there's only 6 sides to a box. It's more like a diamond. You're a faceted diamond, and you don't know you're inside it. You're just, going through life, and you ended up the way you ended up. Why do I always doubt myself? Why do I not really feel like, I'm saying what I'm saying, but I don't really own it? It's not, I'm saying what I'm supposed to say, but, all these kind of feelings and thoughts and emotions that you're experiencing as you go through life can constrain you, can limit you, even though they might be great. Maybe you're very forceful and you get your job done and you produce results. Okay. Well, try being attentive. Try being passionate. Try being in another person's world, what it's really like for them, so you can actually reach that person that normally you just squash and put to one side because you're this forceful person, right? No, what is it to connect with everyone? What is it to be able to understand where everyone's coming from? Now, you might think you do, but I don't know. I'm never in someone else's head. I can't see it the way they're seeing it, but there's something having them behave the way they're behaving that's not just obvious. It's deeper. It comes from their past. Things have happened. And in the book, what I wanted to do is unravel all of these limiting beliefs. Now, some people say, I don't have any limiting beliefs. Anything's possible. I know anything's possible. Yeah. The problem is you believe your limiting beliefs. You don't have any. You just believe them. You don't think of them as beliefs. It's just the way it is. The way it is like this. I'm like this, they're like that, and it's the way it is. No, that's a construct. It's a construct in language. So like everyone, we go through life, something happens, and we make a decision, and we make up stuff, and we make it mean something. We can't help it. We're doing it all the time. But there's times when things happen when you're young, when you're growing up, and you make decisions. Like I'll give you the first example I use in the book is a very simple example. Because I just was that I don't sing. I can't sing. Oh my God. I was so nervous, so embarrassed. I would never sing out loud to another human being. Never. It was like, so embarrassed. This guy that can lead programs, that can do everything. I've flown fighter jets. I've done raced motorbikes. I've rock climbing. I surf, like nothing's impossible for me. But you try singing in front of just even a couple of people, even one person, impossible. Impossible. And then I had a guy in my house. He was renting a room from me, and he's a musician, and he composed songs, and he'd send them off, and artists would either take them or not take them, and then use his songs, right? And he'd get singers to come to the house, sing into the microphone, beautiful stuff, sing his songs, so he could put that down on the track, and then send them off. And I was in the kitchen one day. I said, his name's Simon. I said, I've always wondered if I could sing. He goes, oh, just come and sing in the microphone. We'll know straight away. I went, what? He goes, yeah. What do you want to sing? I don't know. I said, well, just pick anything. I can get the backing track for anything you want. Okay, fine. What about Bob Dylan? Blowing in the wind. I'm pretty sure I can sing that. Do you know what I mean? And a pretty gruff voice, so I might get away with it. And then I obviously avoided him for the next 2 weeks because I didn't want to actually do it. Finally, he said, "Look, it's all set. Just come in." And here's what I do without artists. I record 3 times, everything 3 times. He says, because then if it's just a little glitch or something like that, I can fix it and don't worry about it. I said, okay, fine. I went up to the microphone. It was like my throat clenched up like concrete. Like, oh, and I've got to sing. So I had to literally force air through my throat to sing this thing, right? And I only sang the first verse 3 times. And he had to count me in because my timing was terrible and everything. Finally, I did it. And then I disappeared off. I was leading a program in London that evening, and ran away basically. Came back the next day, got up. He was waiting for me with an iPhone, right? I don't think it was an iPhone. I think it was what do you call an iPod, right? Anyway, he says, listen to this. And he played it, and it had all the music going and everything. And then I'm singing. I'm like, is that me? Yeah. He says, yeah, you've got a voice, man. He said, you need some lessons, you need to develop it, but you got a voice. It sounds good.
Yeah.
Be out there, I'm like, what? Holy Moses. If I'd have known that, I'd have been rock star. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then I did the work on myself, the kind of work that's in the book to do. They'll walk you through how to do it. Where I go, okay, where did I end up believing? It's the truth. For me, it's been the truth, real. I cannot sing. I don't sing. I'm so embarrassed to sing. I'd never sing, right? So then I look at this. Where's this all coming from? And I do the work. And I remember I'm 8 years old, and Miss Bland, the teacher, we're all singing away, getting ready for the school concert. And she says, can the first two rows, can you just be quiet for a moment? I want to listen to Christopher. I want to hear him. And Christopher was stood behind me. So I just sing, like, oh, God, I must sound awful. I must sound awful because I'm spoiling him, right? So I sound awful. It was very subtle. It was just this little moment, but boy, I never sang after that. From 8 years old to 48, so 40 years I lived in, I sound awful. I cannot sing. It's going to sound terrible. I don't know what I'm doing. It's a natural thing to do, sing, So it was quite a revelation. And then I went, wow. And then I said to Simon, well, what should I sing? He said, write your own songs. I said, what? Yeah, write your own songs. You've got your voice. You don't want to sing other people's songs because everyone judges you. Just write your own songs. I went, oh, okay, sure. I'm like, how do you write a song? So I don't know. The Beatles said they could do it in half an hour. I'm going to write a song. So I wrote a song. I took it to him. He goes, oh, right, okay, great. What's the tune? I said, blah, 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 blah. He went, okay. And we did this whole song. And then I started writing songs, and this whole world opened up. And the point is, all of this thing, we have limiting beliefs. We don't even realize our limiting beliefs because it's just the way it is. It's everywhere, all over your life. You're trying to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. And then someone gives you the title leader. Okay, you're now the leader. Lead this group, and you're in your head. You're like, oh, I don't know if they trust me. I don't know if they're going to do. Why won't they just do it? And blah, blah, blah. And you're talking to yourself. You're in this conversation with a voice in your head because you got a limiting belief about that kind of person, a limiting belief about that kind of person. Oh, that kind of person's okay, which means that kind of person's not okay. It's a minefield of stuff, but it's all unravelable. And when you unravel it all and you're just able to be with what's happening with no added stuff, you're a genius. You work stuff out really simply. Things have become
You
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when I first got hired into leadership in corporate America, my biggest struggle, Will, that I had is does people trust me? And at first, I dabbled with that for months and months. And my manager was just hounding me, we hired you and you're just not giving me what I need from you. And, you're always in the corner so quiet. And it was killing me not to be great at what I do. I love that my motivation is always to be great at everything I do.
Yeah.
But once I stopped, took the pressure off myself, and questioning, does everyone else believe in me? Once I started believing in myself, I unleashed my limited belief. I became a great manager because I let it go that, hey, I have to get these people to believe in me. And I took it from them and carried it myself. I was like, hey, do I believe in myself? And once I was able to believe in myself, I was a natural leader.
Now, are you willing to look at something? Because it goes deeper than the work you did. You did some good work because you got yourself able to function, right? You got yourself able to carry out that position, right? You kind of like coached yourself to be okay and do it, right? Like it's coach to jump. You coach yourself to go for it, right? It's like you coach yourself, but you had to get over something. Do you notice? There's something you had to get over to be able to function as that leader. You see?
Right.
Can you get that? Now,
I get that.
I mean, we're not in a coaching relationship, you and I, but are you willing to maybe have a glimmer at something that maybe what I call the source of that, or the root of that, or like the origin of it, where it comes from?
Yeah, I want you to give me everything you can give me.
Well, you put it all over there. I just got to ask you a few questions and see if we can find it, right?
Okay, yeah,
So,
let's go.
so you remember I talked about me being 8 years old, right? So we can
Hmm.
go all the way back there, right?
Hmm.
Something, because she said the word, "Do these people trust me?" Right? So
Hmm.
why wouldn't people trust you? What does that
Yeah,
bring up from your past?
yeah. My trust came from when I was 21. I found out who I thought was my dad was not my dad. And
Oh,
what happened is that I carried this atmosphere of trust with my parents because they didn't tell me the truth. I found out through someone else that my dad, who I thought was my dad, was not my real dad. And so, to answer your question, well, my thing was trust. I didn't trust anybody, and then because I didn't trust anyone, I quit trusting and believing in myself.
right. Now slow down. You did some good work there, right? So now take me, let's go to
Mhm.
the moment you found out, or somebody said something, or you went, what? What? I mean,
Mhm.
where were you when you actually found out?
I was living with my son's mom. We
Yes.
were going through a breakup at the same time.
Yes.
So I was going through a breakup with her.
And
Her
where were you
mom.
physically? Where were you? Were you in the living room? Were you in the
I
park?
was in the living room. Yeah, I was in the
In the
living
living
room.
room. Okay. And who was there?
My son's mom
Yeah.
and my son's mom.
Right. Okay. And what happened?
And so she comes in and she was like, "Hey, good morning." I was like, because it was early in the morning, Will. And I was like, "Good morning." She goes, "You would never believe this. I was hanging out with your dad all night." And I go, "Hanging out with my dad all night? What are you talking about?" Right? She didn't have the best frame of mind at that time. I'll just put it that way. Right.
Right.
And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she goes, "Well, I was hanging with your dad all night." And I go, "My dad, Jimmy?" Because that's what my dad, we call
Yeah.
my dad. She goes, "No, your dad's not Jimmy." And I go, "Okay, this lady, she's losing it. She's cuckoo this morning." And she goes, "Well, your real dad is this guy." Well,
Right.
Will just so happened,
The first name, if you would.
my real dad name,
Yeah. If you
his
can.
name is Alan.
Right. She
Yeah, my
said.
real dad name is Alan.
So that's what she
Yep.
said. Good.
Yeah.
Keep.
She goes, "I was hanging with your dad, Alan." And I was like, "Alan." And the reason what caught me off guard, Will, was that Alan is my older sister dad,
Oh,
biological father, right? Known biological father. And so once she um, shared that information with me, I was kind of taken back, like, wait a minute, is this really true?
mhm.
And so it kind of stuck in my mind for a little bit. But for a little bit, I thought she was just, like I said, going cuckoo. And so
Yeah.
then, hour after I gathered my emotions and my thoughts, I called my mom.
Mm.
And I was like, "Hey, mom, this person is saying that Jimmy's not my real dad." And Will, you can hear a pin drop. It was silent. And right in the moment of silence, I knew right then and there what the answer was. Broke my heart in 50 pieces.
Tell me, just slow down. What was that like? Get me back there. Get yourself back there. What was that actually like?
It was terrible. It hurted. Then I felt like my whole life was a lie
There you
because
go.
I
You know
felt
what?
like everyone,
That's a decision right there. My whole
yep,
life lie. Keep
yep,
going.
whole life's a lie.
Yes.
Everybody lied to me.
Mm.
Everyone knew about this except for me.
Mm.
And once I had that frame of mind, my brothers and my sisters, I had a different way of how I felt about them
Well,
because
tell
I
me,
felt like they knew.
they knew. So now what did this mean? What's the decision there?
It,
Everyone
it
lied.
tainted
Yeah.
it tainted the relationships.
That's a description. I want to know the decision. What is it you decided? What did it mean?
I'm keeping my distance from everybody. I'm in avoidance zone.
Yeah.
And so I started avoiding everyone and hiding out in my own world,
Well,
going to the park,
wait.
sitting.
You mentioned trust a lot earlier in the conversation. Is any of that like decision in there, like about trusting people?
Oh yeah, it was. So
What?
first it was the avoidance, and then it was I was avoiding people because of trust. I didn't trust anybody.
No, that's the decision there. My whole life is a lie.
Hmm.
I don't trust anybody,
And so kept my distance.
and I'll keep my distance.
Yep.
You have now got
Because
James. That's James in his
hmm
relationship to life, to people.
hmm yeah. So once all that took place,
Yes.
I became very complacent. I lost who I was. I lost myself. And after I lost myself, I started dabbling with drugs and alcohol. And that took me down another whole roller
Well,
coaster ride.
I'll slow down there. There's another decision in there. What did that mean about you? If it, look, my whole life's a lie. I
Mhm.
can't trust anybody. I'm keeping my distance. What does it mean about you?
I didn't know who I was, Will.
Well, that's a decision now, right? I don't
Yeah.
know who I am, right? So now,
Yeah.
now who I am for myself is I don't know who I am.
Yep.
I mean, that's pretty, God, man, that's like a heavy load, right? A heavy now. You see, your brain creates a reality in
hmm
language. You've now got
hmm
this reality where everyone lies to you, everyone's lied to you, can't trust anybody, keep your distance, and I just don't know who I am. Imagine now being given a leadership position. Or imagine now someone falling in love with you and wanting to be a partner with you. But you're like, don't know
Exactly.
who you are and don't trust people, and I got to keep my distance, and this is
Yep.
trust, and they love me. I mean, just start. I mean, if you would, I mean, you're doing amazing. You're doing amazing for a live recording that's going to go out, right? Um, uh, if you would, just share with us what's been like what's that been like for you? What's been the impact of that in all areas, not just leadership?
The impact has been broken relationships with women.
Uh-huh.
It's been um, issues with my self confidence,
Yeah.
right? Wanting the thing is, well, I wanted my dad who raised me to be my real dad so bad, and it was like I just couldn't get it there.
Mm.
And me and the guy, me and Alan, that's not my dad, never had a relationship. We never talked ever in our lives, right? And so now, Will, the question is do I want to meet this guy? Because according to her, he wanted to meet me. He wanted to get to know me. But now I was questioning, like, is it really even valuable? And I will say, well, in my dad's defense that raised me was the greatest man I could think of. Never put a difference in me. Never showed me he wasn't my dad. Treated me like I was his oldest son as I was. I even got his name, right? Um, and so he never sliced the pie and said, hey, you're not my son. I wouldn't have never known, like I said, unless someone told me. But back to your question, it made me really question, did he really love me? My real dad, my biological dad, and then my dad who raised me, did they really love me? Um, and Will, I had a horrible relationship with my mom after this. And not because of the fact that I was upset with my mom, it was more along the lines of once she found out I knew, it hurted her so bad that she didn't tell me the truth to where it tainted her life. And because her life was tainted, because now I knew every time me and her had a disagreement, this same scenario would kept coming up through the pipes. This is why you're upset because of this. You're upset because of that. And it was that same very scenario. And me and her didn't talk for 2 years. It just got to a point to where it was too heavy. And so I went through life, had a baby with a girl outside of wedlock. Didn't really know her, but it felt comfortable. Like I need this, and that ended up expiring. And so then I got in another relationship with another lady, and I'm like, you know what? These ladies are all liars. I'm gonna treat them how you treat a liar, and that's step on their hearts, make them feel less than. And
Mm.
probably two relationships after that, I did that. I didn't treat the women with respect. I wasn't a bad guy, but was just no trust. And when there's no trust, well, the respect level was very low, right?
Yeah.
And so it impacted me there. It impacted me at work. I ended up losing my job because I quit going to work. I ended up having to get enrolled in counseling. I mean, it was just one of those things where it impacted my whole life. I mean, I remember sitting in the car just crying, bawling my eyes out, asking myself, why me? Why me? Why
Mm,
couldn't there be someone else? And it was one of those things where it was so hard to carry,
mm.
where I just quit communicating with everyone around me, period. I was like a walking zombie. So to answer your question, it impacted every part of my life.
Now, this is very important. Okay, what
Hmm.
I'm about to say is very important. So please listen. Okay, please.
Okay.
You know, it's not what happened that's impacted your life. It's what you made it mean. So you are the one who made it mean I can't trust people. You see, is it true you can't trust people?
No.
I mean, some people maybe,
Some people, yeah. Some people, yeah. Yeah.
you
But
don't want
definitely not my family, right? Yeah.
to mean you can't trust other people. Does it mean that you know? Does it mean that you don't know who you are? I mean, all the way back to Socrates, he would have massive conversations with hundreds of people, right? And
Hmm.
they're only looking at one question: Who are you?
Yeah.
So human beings never really go deep enough to really get to who they are. So you're not alone not knowing who you are. I mean, it's a great inquiry to be in, but does it mean anything?
Means a lot, especially
We,
knowing who you are.
well,
I took
no.
this leadership course, and one of my buddies encouraged me to do so. Oh, go
Yeah.
ahead, Will. You're going to say something.
Well, it only means a lot because you say it means a lot.
Correct.
It's not true. Because if you look
Hmm.
outside of you, like, you're this person and there's objects around you, you can't find that meaning anywhere. It's not out in life. It's because we add this meaning. Because you said it means a lot, it means a lot. You have this experience of it, but in
Right.
reality, there is no meaning in life. It gets made up between our ears. We speak
Hmm.
it to ourselves, and then that becomes a limiting belief.
Yep, it does.
No,
And,
no,
growing up as,
yeah. Tell me, talk to me.
I would say, growing up as a kid, I already struggled with confidence issues, right? I feel like that growing up in America, me being African American, it
Mm,
kind of it kind of made me struggle with being accepted everywhere I go. We grew up in a multicultural environment,
yeah,
and sometimes you feel like because everyone is a different race, they're more intelligent than you, and so my self confidence was already kind of weak from that point, Will. And so
yeah.
as time progressed, it just got weak and weak and
Now
weaker.
stop for a second. I want to pause you for a second. So
Okay.
they're more intelligent than me
Mm-hmm.
is a thought you had
Correct.
that you believed
Mm-hmm.
or you decided was true. More
Yep.
accurate, right? So you have a thought. We have thoughts all the time. You have a
Mm-hmm.
thought, and you decide that one's true. That becomes something you believe. It's just the way it is. So you literally created
Mm-hmm.
they are more intelligent than me, which means I'm not as intelligent. So, and then, you know, and it's a very sensitive thing, especially being a white guy to talk about. But
Yeah.
then you've African American and there is all people with all different beliefs, right, and different ways
Yeah.
to each other because the whole human race has made stuff up all the
Yep.
time. If we could get
Mm-hmm.
everybody to get what I'm trying to get people to get,
Mm-hmm.
all of that shit would disappear. It's
It
all made
would.
up.
Yeah.
You, you're not the same height as me. You're a different color to me. You were
Mm-hmm.
born over there and I was born over there. I mean, you speak that language and they speak that language. It
Yeah.
doesn't freaking mean anything.
It does not.
But
It
we've
does
made
not.
it mean so much, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody else has made it mean so much. So we're all these people walking around in our own little cocoons, in our own little
Yeah.
world, When really, if we could just educate everyone, open people up to getting what you just got about one aspect of you, you in relationships, right? Now we're
Mhm.
getting wider. We can see it deeper because there was something there before, right?
Yeah.
There's, just read my book, man. You just got, I mean, I could do a lot of work with you, okay? A lot of work. I've already seen about 3 different things that we could go and have a conversation about, and open something up. But what you got a lot of limiting beliefs because,
Hmm.
you inherit some of them,
Yeah.
because your parents have got it, or your friends have got it, or the people around you believe this
They've
and
got it. Yeah.
this, and we're like that. Like, it's true.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll tell you, I have overcome a lot of my limited beliefs. I'll tell you, I took this leadership course. Buddy
Yeah.
of mine invited me to come along, and he was like, "Hey, man, I want you to come join this leadership course." And I kept kind of putting it off for a little bit and putting it off. At the same time, I was just starting my podcast, so I kind of got over a lot of limiting beliefs about myself at that point. I was a successful manager in corporate America, so was getting better for me. I forgot and about a lot of limited things that was holding me back, right? And
Yeah.
so I took the leadership course, and the day that I go, I'm like, I'm a great leader. I really don't need to be here, but my buddy invited me. It was half price. So, hey, I'm just here. Right. And so I get in there the first day, and Will, I'll tell you, we hit the ground running. We walk in and they leave us silent for about an hour. And I couldn't figure out what was that technique all about. And I'm trying to get to and trying to figure out why it's a group of us sitting in a circle, strangers, didn't know
Yeah.
any of these folks,
Yeah.
right? And we're sitting in a circle, and the instructors are just, it was like, there was one main instructor or trainer, I guess you can call him, and then his helpers, right? But they're sitting at a table in front of us, and we're all just sitting there in silence. And so once that hour of silence break, then they start talking. They never told us what that silence was about, right? But we figured out, hey, if we're silent, they want us to take the lead. So let's all stand up and start introducing ourselves. And so we did that. So, but anyways, Will. So I get in there and I'm like, hey, I'm perfectly fine. Nothing's wrong with me. I'm great. I've overcame all my issues. No, I did not. So the whole issue with the biological father thing hit me so hard. Will I realize during that course, I was never over it. I wasn't even close to tipping the iceberg.
Mm.
Right. And so it was a 3-day class. And each day that went by, we peeled that onion back further and further and further. And the reason why I was able to share with you what helped me back all those years is because once I took that course, because I thought I was fine. I was like, I'm over it. Doesn't matter who my dad is. I know who my dad is. He raised me. It was good. Right. But during the middle of taking that course, I realized I wasn't never even healed from that. I just put it on the back burner. But uh, as the class went on, I started to really feel those emotions, Will. And I felt the emotions like the first day that it happened. And Will, I'm in that class and I'm bawling my eyes out. And we're in like this dark room and they're saying, just yell and scream and cuss people out. Let it go. Let it go. And I mean, I was at the top of my lungs, screaming, crying, yelling. And once the yelling session was over, I dropped 50 pounds,
Mm.
literally.
Mm.
Right. And so once the class was over, I took a step back and I was like, man, I've been carrying that for years and I had never really dealt with it. So I called my mom, I called my dad. We talked about the scenario. My mom ended up apologizing. My dad ended up apologizing. And so after all of that, I was over the hurdle of that, but it hurted. But I didn't know, Will, at that point in time, that I was still suffering from that all my life.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
And so now, today, I'm over it. That's why I'm able to talk to you about it without waterworks. I'm
Right.
able to stand confident on my statue and say, "Hey, I know who I am now. I was a man who was raised by a dad who wasn't my biological father, but was my father. And the man that was my biological father, we don't have a relationship, and I'm okay with that. Life can go on. It's not hurting me, or it's not benefiting me in any way at the moment. So,
Yeah. Well, if I was coaching you, I would encourage you to what I call get complete with your
mhm.
biological father.
Yeah, I know, and
Because listen,
that's the
without
hard
him, you
part.
wouldn't be here. No matter what your view is, he's just a guy who had a relationship with your mom. And, you know, here we go.
So
Now there's a child on the way, and it happens to be you. You wouldn't be
yep.
here if it wasn't for him. So you could, you know, there's one thing you could thank him for is that
Hmm.
you've got a life and you're alive, and you know it's possible to have two dads. You know.
Yeah, yeah. So Will, tell me what would I get out of that? And I'm not questioning you really, right? It's more a rhetorical question for myself. But
Yes.
the reason why I asked that question is because my dad that raised me, me and him have a great relationship. I
Yes.
don't I don't see myself having any benefits from going to my biological father saying, hey, so I did cross that bridge a couple years ago. He friended me on Facebook.
Mm.
And I hit him up on Facebook and I was like, hey, we need to have a conversation. And he was like, oh, yeah, yeah. So here's my number. And so he gave me his number. And Will, I felt like a 5-year-old kid again. And the day I was going to call him, I freaked out and I lost it. And I told myself, I'm not going to call him. I want to see if he reaches out to me because he knows I know now. Because if so, I would have never said, hey, we need to have a conversation. He knows I know. He knows I'm his son. And so I took the back seat, Will, and I said, I'm gonna wait on him. And he never texted, never called, never sent me a message on Facebook. And so I felt like at that point, I'm not important enough for him to even reach out and say, hey,
But what?
I know what you want to talk about.
No. Wait. You just set him up. He gave you his number,
Mm-hmm.
meant you're going to call him, and then you bottled it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then made up a
Yep.
story about it, and then put it on him.
Yep.
So now you put the responsibility for you having a relationship or a connection with your real father, your
Yeah.
biological father, you put it all on him, then you make up a story, which is what people do. Make up a
Yep.
story, and it all seems plausible, and then you find
Mm-hmm.
evidence for it, and now they become the villain, they become the bad person, and you're the good person in your story about yourself. And you go through life in this story. But what you don't have is completion with your biological father. You're not connected, and you're not able to cross that bridge. So, in you crossing that bridge, your whole life will alter. You tell him, say, listen, thank you for my life. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'll tell you to say something, right? But you will not understand it. But first, you've got to say whatever you need to say. You know, I'm
Okay.
upset and no one told me and blah, 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 whatever you need to say, right? But when you've said everything, all
Mm-hmm.
will be there when there's nothing left that's animosity, you know, no regret, no hate, no annoyance. You know, he said everything. Forgiven him.
Mm-hmm.
First step is to forgive. Now, if you really forgive him, there's no more, you know, acid there. There's no more
Yeah.
fire, right? It's gone, all gone. And then he said whatever he said, and you just get something happens. All that's there is I love you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you can say that and just say, be able to say it, I promise you, you'll never be the same human being again. Something will open up and you'll discover you.
Yeah. So do you feel like that's still the trailing piece? Like I'm 75% and that's going to give me the, I don't want to say
Why would
closure, right? Because
why, why,
I don't bank on closure ever, but
why not?
clarity is the word I'll use. Clarity.
Why not? Why not be 100% in life?
Yeah, no, I agree. And I want to be 100% in life. Like I'm at a point, Will, where, man, I want to be so 100% complete. I want to be peaceful. I want to not have any issues. I want to eliminate all my limiting beliefs, right? All my
Right.
fears, stresses, worries, doubts, all that. I want to be just the guy that can say, hey, I've took care of all that, right?
Great.
I'm just dealing with things that are in my future. So
So by when will you have spoken to your biological father?
why'd you ask that question?
Without
I
a
don't know, Will.
frame,
I don't know
without a
when.
promise, it won't happen. That's why you have a coach.
Mm,
A coach will hold you to account.
yeah,
Without that, it's all nice conversation. Then
it's
when
fluff.
life happens and it
Yeah.
doesn't make any difference to your life. Without action, in this case, that particular action, it's this conversation, it doesn't actually make any difference. But you take that action, life alters. And that's why when I say, by when will you do it? We now have a date. We can now follow up with you. And you know you said it. No, I wouldn't wait. I would do it
Hmm.
right after this call. The moment you hang up with me, I would call your dad,
Hmm.
because then there's no time for your mind to get in the way.
Yeah, because the longer you let space,
The worse it gets.
sit between, the more roadblocks come up. Right now, you got 50 roadblocks versus just the one you had right after the call.
Yeah. Right. So you're going to call
So
him
yeah,
after this
yeah,
call
sure. No,
today?
I no. In seriousness, it's been weighing on my heart for a year now to give him a call and just put my emotions, uh, I don't want to say it. Put myself over the emotion, right? I think, Will, the biggest thing that I was mainly worried about was the rejection, right? And I guess there can't really be any rejection because there's no expectation, right? It's not me going in saying, hey, I need you to be my dad and be my biological father. That's not the mindset that I have. My only mindset, like you said, is just thank you for giving me life. I appreciate you being my biological father, and I love you. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah. And whatever else you want to say, whatever
Yeah.
else comes up. I don't know.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing, Will, I think I need to think deep on because I don't know if I really have any ill feelings about him. However, let me preface that and say this. Uh, me and my son's mom had a pretty rough relationship when we went through our breakup.
Yes.
She ended up dating another guy.
Yeah.
And she didn't tell me. I had to go and find out she was dating someone else.
Yeah.
So the day that I found out, I went to her job and the guy pulls up with my son and his friends in her car,
Yeah.
right? And so she jumps in the car with him, and I'm like, what is going on? And so I follow them to wherever they were going. And finally, eventually, she pulls over and she was like, what do you want? Leave us alone, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, you know what? All I want is my son because she had my son. I said, just give me my son. You can do life the way you do life. But only thing that's important to me is him. So I fought for him. I was willing to die for him that day because, like I said, there was three other guys in that car. I was willing to die. And Will, they all are in gangs. They're in a gang, right? But I was willing to die that day for my son to have him in my life. And how I look at my biological father is that you didn't fight for me. If you really wanted a life for me, you could have had a life with me, but
Anyway,
you didn't fight.
that's great. Tell him that. It's okay to tell him that.
Yeah.
That's the resentment you've had. That's the gripe you've had that you feel like he should have fought for you and blah, 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 blah. Right. And then he'll tell you his side of the story. Well, your mum asked me not to, or blah. Who knows? We don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
The
you're
full
right. Yeah.
story, but the one you made up. And that keeps you, that's the barrier. But when you talk to him, you guys talk and just talk.
Yeah.
I mean, you are related.
We are.
You are
By
blood.
blood.
Riley, man.
By blood.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't stay on. I have to. I literally have to go. Okay.
Yeah.
So this just has been so. You've been so great, so great. Okay, and it's up to you if you call your dad, but my request is you call him and let me know what happened.
Okay. Yeah, I'll send you an email.
Great.
But thank you for being part of Fast Forward Mindset Motivation, Will. It's been great having you, and thank you for helping me peel my onion back even more.
Yeah. Look, all this motivation and stuff, if it's on top of something, it's never the real deal. You can put icing on top of dog dirt.
Hmm.
Right? You can make a pie out of mud and put icing on it. It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Can't eat it. It's not the real deal. You
Right.
have to deal with the stuff that's underneath, and most things don't. You deal with that and have that conversation with your real dad, your biological father, and get all that animosity out the way and find out and get to know and answer the questions that you got. And
Hmm.
he'll have questions for you, and you get all that stuff out.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Will, and just so you know, I'm going to put your link to your book in the episode description of this podcast, just so you know. So I don't know if you sent it to me. If not, go ahead and email it to me. If not, I'll dig in through one of the past emails you sent me. If you've already sent it previously.
What is it you wanted? Sorry, there was some noise. I couldn't hear that.
Oh, sorry, your links. for your book and then your link to contact you if my listeners are interested in connecting with you on some coaching.
Great. willsteele.com. That's my website. Easy.
Perfect.
No E at the end of Steele, S-T-E-E-L. And it's all one word, willsteele.com. You can get in touch there, or will@willsteele.com. Send me an email and we'll get in touch. You know, if you're got a big vision in life, or if you're up to something, or if you're an athlete and you're not making the number one, you're not getting the gold medal, all that's between you and the winning is some conversation in the background limiting you. We can get to that and disappear it. And then you can have what you really want. It is possible.
That's awesome. Thank you for being part of the show, Will.
Thank you for having me. It's great. And thank you for being so open and willing to be, allow me to contribute to you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank y'all for listening to today's episode. And remember, don't rewind your life, fast forward it. Until next time, keep moving forward. Hey y'all, I'm Coach James. Let me help rewire the way you think. All right, y'all. Peace.